So I was telling you about this woman, and this was all over the news, and so I'm sure you heard it. But if you didn't hear about this woman that in her will said, if my dog is still alive after I die, I want you to put the dog down. I want you to cremate the dog, and I want him buried with me. The problem is it's not legal.
Tonight, a story about people who love their pets too much. Such was the case with Emma, an otherwise healthy Shih Tzu mix who was recently euthanized after its late owner left explicit instructions in her will that the dog be put down and laid to rest with her. It's a practice that's not only cruel, but one that in most cases here in Virginia is illegal.
So it's illegal to do it, and that's to be buried together with a pet, which I have no idea why that would be a big deal.
Why would anybody care? We're literally putting Dad into the garden.
Exactly. We were just talking about this last hour, composting people.
I know.
Now, by the way, that's only legal in Washington State at this point in time.
Like this is how far opposite the country is. They're like burnt up dog with person. Nope, that's not allowed. Washington, they're like, hey, we're just going to put him in the ground and see what happens.
This is Carrie Jones. She's the manager of the Humane Society out there. And what happened when the woman died was they took the dog to the Humane Society, but they wouldn't let it out for adoption. And they had to wait for something to clear so they could put the dog down, and they weren't happy about it.
We did suggest to them that they could sign the dog over on numerous occasions, because it's a dog that we could easily find a home for and rehome it. But ultimately, they came back in on March 22nd and redeemed the dog back.
Can you imagine if you work somewhere like that and you're trying to find dogs homes?
I'd be so pissed.
And you're rescuing animals to find them homes.
Be so mad.
And then family members that could easily take the dog or just sign them over to you to give to somebody else. So there's nope, we're putting that totally healthy dog down. It just doesn't seem right. I realize that dogs are considered by law property, like, your car or your wallet or your couch. But it's a living thing.
I thought you were going to keep going. Your shoes, your jacket,
your watch. Wait, you don't have a watch.
Things you can own. Top
I'm
75
curious.
answers on the board.
I'm really curious if by this woman doing this, if the law is changed. And maybe we ask Steve about it, but that you can't just because it's yours, it's totally healthy. And just to put it down, to take its life.
Well, it's incredibly...
It's the most selfish thing, right?
Selfish thing that you could do. I mean, it's
crazy.
The worst. They're like, well, if I can't be alive, then my Fido can't be alive either. Come on. That's sad.
That dog couldn't live without me.
There is. So we went up to the mission up by Fort Hunter Lickett.
Oh, yeah.
A couple weeks ago. And we were talking about, with the lady that works in the gift shop there, we were talking about... She said she had a beagle when she was a child, and the beagle, they had two beagles. It was a girl beagle and a boy beagle, and the girl and boy beagle were best friends. I think they may even had been brothers and sisters. Okay, and they came from the same litter, and they'd lived their whole life together. Well, the boy beagle died first, and after the boy beagle would die, the girl beagle would go over to the neighbor's house and sit on their porch step until 6 o'clock every night, and then come walking back sad and dejected, because apparently that was something that boy beagle and girl beagle would do.
I've heard of this.
Would go over to the and
but this is another animal that they spend all their time together with. Not, I mean, I realize,
right.
Yeah.
But there are animals that if they can get attachment to another animal, then why wouldn't they be able to get an attachment to a person? And if they get that attachment to the person, maybe they are better off dead. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, I realize.
Maybe they're better off dead because they're not going to be heartbroken because they're like your dogs. Like your dogs, you take super duper good care of. If anything were to happen to you, don't you think your dogs would be, well, Tank probably more so than George, would be devastated?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if something would have happened to you before it happened to Tank would have been devastated.
I just know when we talk to Steve about dogs, and probably, I don't know about cats, but dogs specifically, when they know, he said, anybody that works there will tell you, and anybody who's adopted a pet will tell you, they just seem to know they're getting a second chance. And you could see that. You could see the way they act. You could see the way they listen. I don't know. It's I think it's really sad. And I think that, yes, I understand what you're saying, and I've heard those stories. And maybe in those situations, but this is a perfectly happy, healthy dog that could have went to another home. And this is the most selfish thing ever. I just can't even believe that you can do that. It's wild. Can you imagine if you could do that with other things? I mean, it's like cash for clunkers. But it's not even clunkers. It's like the ego of somebody.
I know, it's bad.
It's just crazy.
It's bad.
And I know I'm a dog guy and I'm a pet guy, and but still.
Okay, let the animal have the choice to have the broken heart, and if it dies of a broken heart, it dies of a broken heart. Maybe it could have found a new life that would have been better than the life that it had with you. You ever think of that, egotistical dead lady?
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.